What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here with episode number 3 of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, and today we are going to Vietnam, which is, and I make no bones about this, the track upon which I am worst across the entire season every single time. You can see on the R&D chart predictions we are currently third bottom still, and you're gonna see us add all of our little obligations for the activity timeline for this race. So we're going to do some sponsor advertisement with the vehicle, we're going to do some G-Force training for Tatiana, we're going to get ourselves a sponsor event thing, I think, aero team building, that's where we ended up, and the driver promotion filming, which should help us all to progress a little bit. You can see we also have here some new things coming in, some bits and bobs that will, hopefully help us to progress in Vietnam as well. Hope us to get a bit more pace. So we currently sit 9th in the championship and 4th in the constructors. But you'll see now things started to fail a lot as we advanced through the timeline. Jeff gave us a little message, but unfortunately the sound got a bit messed up on the video, so you won't hear it. But yeah. It is fixed for the race, before anyone worries. But yeah, we had to redo chassis part, we had to redo our rear downforce upgrade, and that was just kind of the start of our troubles for the week going through the timeline, because then our ignition system failed, so we had to go back into the R&D chart, and we had to make that happen again, which yeah. Also a message about rivalries, which I probably could have edited out, but I didn't. So yeah, our ignition system failed. That's going to come in, I think, just before or just after the race. That's a next episode upgrade coming in. But we've made our way through. We've got a bit of cash coming in at 1.1 million, and now we're going to go into qualifying. Well, into the race weekend, but we will jump straight to qualifying because there's no need for you to see my awful practice sessions going on. The weather forecast you'll see in a second, rain for the race. So we've already experienced this car is awful to drive in the rain. I'm useless around Hanoi, and yeah, fun times. But we're going to go for qualifying. I'm going to show you the full first qualifying lap. That wasn't as loud in my ears that time as it was last time out, which is good. Like I said, for the race there'll be sound, but it got a bit messed up on the qualifying. I recorded them separately. I don't know why, so apologies for the sound on this part of the video being muted. It will come back for the race, I promise you that much. It's just a bit of a thing. But you'll see, yeah, not the smoothest lap being put in today. Not the best lap I'll ever put in my career. I find it really hard to follow, even with the track going, very hard to follow the guide here. I don't know if it's just because I haven't got the turn-in, I haven't got the aero for the race or not, but it's just something about this track I just can't master it. You will see in the race it gets a little bit smoother. I do get smoother as I get more laps in, but it's not like, I've done thousands of laps around, say, Australia, and I can handle that. But you see, we're a bit deep into the hairpin there. Like I said, not a great first qualifying lap, but the difficulty is still set at 90. So this should be representative of the kind of balance between my skill and the car's pace. Yeah, we're getting there. So we're going through these fast S's. I hate this part of the track. Those walls are so close. I'm not great at street circuits. On Assetto Corsa, you put me on any game with street circuits, and it will go badly. So look forward to Monaco coming up in a few episodes time as well. But we're going to cross the line, and we're going to log a 39.5 essentially, which is good enough for 6th at this stage in the session. But we're obviously going to get on better at. So I went out for a second lap, which you're going to see here. This is the second flight. I went on the same set of tyres because I thought there was some time to find. There wasn't time to find. I was losing time everywhere. I just couldn't tie anything together in this lap. I don't know if it was just the tyres, so I sort of aborted this lap. Really nearly messed up the entry as well, almost straight into the wall on the entry to the pit lane, which is probably a small blessing that's going to rain all race, because that means it's going to be a no-stopper. But that will, of course, mean I have to try and get past people on actual ability, which, as we know, is not my strong suit. So, yeah, into the pit lane to apologise to the team for being very bad around Hanoi. They all look suitably disappointed as I pull into the garage, and now as qualifying completes itself, we come through the back end of our flying. See, on this lap, we are already about a tenth up. We're coming into the third sector here. I really felt like I just about got this this fast S's section. I actually got it nailed for probably the only time in qualifying. Things came together. You can see we're 4 tenths up already as we come towards the last couple of corners. Really tight around there, very close to the wall. Kind of pulled it a bit more than I maybe needed to avoid hitting the wall. We're going to come across the line. We've taken 3.5 tenths off our time, but it is only good enough overall for P19 from the grid, which is not where we hoped to be, if we're all completely honest. So we're going to see after Q1, no big surprises out, but Tatiana is ahead of us in 18th by about 4 hundredths of a second. So very close between us and our teammate. We have lost the teammate battle in this episode, but you know it has to happen eventually. And now Claire has questions.
Take on it.
So,
why do you think you weren't as quick as your teammate today?
I think it's probably because they're a very good driver. I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm rubbish at this track.
Your qualifying pace didn't put you in front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow?
I mean, it's always a problem when you're not at the front of the grid, but it's going to be a special problem in the rain because I won't be able to see anything.
Great.
Thanks, Claire. Good to chat as always. You can see we've gained some little bits of acclaim boost here, so that's worked out okay for us. Which, you know, I say it's worked out okay for us. It's worked out terribly for us. But let's get into the race. And like I said, it is going to rain. Jeff has made jokes about how he always says no heroics into Saint Devot and don't damage the car and things. So he wants heroics. He wants heroics on a track where I'm awful in the rain, because that's the kind of madman that Jeff is. Look at this track.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more, as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3 Vietnamese capital, 23 corners and a circuit today that will challenge our drivers in each and every one of those turns. Close barriers loom invitingly on the outside. All the thrills and spills, it's out. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep these temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip, maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin this race, from Valtteri Bottas, the Finn starts from pole position, and Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Sainz, Ricciardo, Norris, Ocon, and Sergio Perez, Hamilton, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean, and Tatiana Calderon, the rookie, Magnussen, Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's
So no benefit for us from the
You're going to have to push early if you want to have any chance of beating your results from the last race. Good luck.
Cheers, Jeff. Yeah, with no grid penalties for anyone to help us out in this race. We're going to take a little bit of fuel off just to see if that helps us. I will actually end up regretting this later on in the race, because I do spend a lot of the race managing fuel very, very carefully. But yeah, it's a no-stop strategy as we go to the 5 red lights. We're away from the off, and it's a wheel spinny start, big wheel spin on the start for us. We've sort of made it past Magnussen and Grosjean, but we've had to sort of give up. And the reason I gave up is because I know I can't see when anyone brakes into this first corner. I couldn't see the apex. I didn't want to take any damage early on, so I kind of backed out a little bit. But up into P18, coming into the, I guess the carousel, the first carousel. I don't know what these corners got names yet. We don't know. We're going to call it the first carousel. It's just a roundabout in the middle of the track. But we've dropped down back to 18th, and Gasly is pulling away from us. And the key at this stage in the race really was just trying to keep Russell, who's definitely better in a straight line, behind us. We're looking good so far, says Jeff. But yeah, you'll see we're just going to kind of follow Gasly through here. We're going to stay on board for this first lap. And I felt like at this stage even, I probably could have pushed, if I'd gone into Rich, I probably could have pushed past Gasly. But I also saw as I was going through the roundabout that there wasn't a gap in front of him to pull into. So, you know, it was a case of kind of slowly catchy monkey with Gasly, because I knew I'd get him at some stage, but I also needed a big enough gap between him and Grosjean as Russell dive bombs us going into the hairpin. We've picked up a warning for, I guess, blocking Giovinazzi making contact with him. Gasly with a big dive, Russell's with a big dive bomb. But I knew we would eventually get Pierre Gasly. So I didn't make any dives, I didn't make any big lunges because there just wasn't a gap ahead of him to move into. Russell's done well to kind of skin us for that as we go through the first lap. But we know he is in a slower car. We know it's just a case of wait and see. He's not really making big inroads towards Gasly either. So yeah, just a case of trying to sort of keep ourselves going. It's a bit. I find myself feathering the throttle a lot as I go through laps around Vietnam, because these walls are just too close, and especially in the rain when you can't see them. You've got no grip, you've got no turning. This car especially is just dire in the wet. And I thought about having a look on the outside of Russell, realised there wasn't the room, and I'd already got in a bit too deep, and that costs a little bit of time. So we go back through Carousel again and onto lap 2, and Russell's going to start pulling away a bit here, but it's actually not for the worst. If anything, it's actually probably helping us, because I can see again. So being able to see is always of benefit as we come through the second roundabout section. Maybe a slight cut of the corner, but we got away with it, and we're going to try and pull in as close behind Russell as we can. Maybe take the shortest possible route round. We don't. In fact, we've taken the slightly longer route round back onto Rich Mix as we go back down this back straight. And yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there as quickly as we can. But you know, it's going to be a long first couple of laps, and we're probably going to make a quick jump in a second. I have a vague recollection that I made a jump cut somewhere around here, because we had a look at Russell here going through the hairpin. Again, probably too much curb, and that's taken time off of us. Not the cleanest way I could have done it. Tatiana isn't catching us at a great rate and knots behind. She is catching us, but not quite there. As we jump forward about a lap or so, you can see we've gapped Tatiana to 3.4. We are slowly catching George Russell. I say slowly, we're very quickly catching George Russell with Rich Mix into the braking zone. I've sort of gone for a big brave dive. I've gone tyre to tyre. Maybe too much contact to be fair, but you know, just got to let George know that we're coming for him. That was basically my plan. Just let George Russell know we are coming for him. We're having a look as we come back into the fast S's section, and I again can see absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing at all times going through this section when you're following a car at less than a second's gap in the rain. There's just no visibility here at all. And I guess because of the high walls, the water kind of stays in the track. I missed the apex because I couldn't see it. Even with the guide to follow, I couldn't see the apex. But we've got a close sort of watching brief on George. We're going to follow through the last corner onto the start-finish straight. Again, maybe too much curb. We lost the back end a little bit going through that. But it's fine. We're still close to George. We're still pushing. And if we can just get this braking zone right, we have right over the curb. Maybe a little bit naughty. You're going to see him reappear there, but we have made the move happen. We've made it stick, and now we can move on and we can start chasing down Pierre Gasly, who is sort of 2 seconds-ish up the road, 1.92 seconds up the road from us. And now we've got some clear air and some clear track, and we can see I can actually start getting into a bit of a rhythm with the track, which is going to help us to get ourselves caught up. But we spent a while behind Gasly and Grosjean, but I was quite glad that Gasly was behind Grosjean on a track that's very hard to overtake, because that's going to back him towards us. But then I had this slight moment here where you see just ahead of us, Gasly and Grosjean have gone for a fight. Gasly has finally managed to push his way past Romain Grosjean going through the hairpin. And now it's just a case of hoping we've got the pace that Romain Grosjean will fall back towards us, because, you know, Grosjean's car is not as good as ours, but yeah, we're in hope mode. Moving on to lap 6 now, and you can see Daniel Ricciardo has retired from the session at the hairpin. You can see him just up ahead there. I don't know what happened. I guess that's a mechanical failure of some kind. I forgot to save any replays because I'm an idiot. So, you know, that's one free position, puts us up into 17th. But we still want to chase down Romain Grosjean because we know we have the pace to catch Romain. If we can just string some good laps together, this car is good enough to catch Romain Grosjean. And we get on to lap 7 now, and you can see Romain Grosjean through the spray in the distance. We are in rich mix. We are trying to catch him as fast as we can. A 1.4 gap. Just how much can we bring it down as we head into the hairpin, which is just the best passing place on this circuit. We get close enough that we can say hello, and you can see Gasly hasn't actually pulled away from him, which is a bit of a surprise. I learned sort of as I was going on, you can see it on the minimap here, I learned as I was going through one of the roundabouts that, well, you see, in fact, right in front there, Magnussen is sandwiching Pierre Gasly, which is slowing Gasly down. But these Haas cars are not really that much better than us, or if they're better than us at all. And you can see here, going lap 7 onto lap 8 as we come out of this final corner, we can see Grosjean right ahead of us. And I think this is where we're going to make a big push, see if we can get ourselves up alongside him and really, really put the pressure on, because we smell blood in the water a little bit. Gasly was not helping himself by not getting past Magnussen. Grosjean is held up a little bit because Gasly can't get past Magnussen as well. And so we're just kind of really trying to take advantage of this. We've gone into lean mix to save some fuel, taken way too much curb there, but got away with it. And you know, it's just a case of pushing the rich mix down the straight. Sorry, lean mix through the corners, through the slower speed sections, trying to manage that fuel a little bit. But here we go. We're following Grosjean. We've got a 0.6 gap, but we are close to. We're close to, and we're pushing into the hairpin. You can see he's dropped back off of Gasly, which has created a gap in front of him. If I can just make this dive bomb work going through this corner, and I have, maybe a little bit unfairly, I don't think Grosjean would have had any idea I was coming. We've made contact. I think I took some of his front wing, which, you know, my apologies, but all's fair in love and racing, and you know, real men don't lift. So we're going to call that a fair overtake, because frankly he shouldn't be lifting. He says as he goes through the stage of the track where he has to lift all the time. But now we've got Gasly in our sights, and if Gasly makes it past Magnussen could become ours. We're going through here onto the start of lap 9 with Gasly 1.7 up the road. But we're sort of a long slog trying to sort of follow, trying to catch up. I mean, we've taken a couple of tenths out through those corners, but we're gonna soldier forth. Lap 9, we're creating some space between us and the car behind, but that's largely because I took some of his front wing with me. In fact, it's almost entirely because I took some of his front wing with me as I passed him. But you know, that's fine. It's very similar to what Alex Albon tried with everyone else in the Red Bull setup. Today it's at Hockenheim. No, the Nürburgring. I forget where we were at today. In Germany, the Eiffel Grand Prix. My brain did not remember where we were at. Doesn't matter. Either way, we're currently racing in Vietnam. We're currently trying to chase down Pierre Gasly. We are on lap 12. We've jumped forward a little bit. 2 laps of fuel left in the car. We've been managing the fuel fairly well. I've got a little bit of excess to play with when I'm ready to line up that pass. You can see Gasly going for that pass on Magnussen again through the hairpin. A really good hunting ground for him. My hunting ground seems to be going into the first corner. His hunting ground, and the hairpin, but his hunting ground seems to be the hairpin exclusively. But now he's got past, Magnussen can start to fall, and maybe, just maybe, he's going to become ours. It's a 1.2 gap. We're heading through the S's again onto the penultimate lap. Really trying to keep it on circuit. I am getting smoother through these. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but I am getting slightly smoother through the S's. I think another couple of... if I'd gone for a 50% race rather than a 25% race, I think I might have got very smooth through those S's. I think I am improving going around the Vietnam circuit. But we're out into the final straight for the penultimate time, the penultimate lap. And we are pushing a bit further forward now because you can see I'm closing up on Magnussen. Magnussen, we've got some tyre wear, but we're doing okay so far. On Magnussen in the hairpin, can we take him? We can. I mean, I've definitely made too much contact there. I've done a Danny Kvyat torpedo. But I wanted the place. I took the place. It wasn't clean racing. There wasn't space to leave him. That's my defence. There is no space at Vietnam, so I didn't have any space to leave him. You can see me having a quick check, just making sure the systems are okay. We were starting to get messages at one stage, I think, about the engine. I think I edited it out because time. But yeah, we're starting to get messages about starting to see wear on engine parts. I think we should be okay for the next race, but you know, beyond that is going to be sketchy. And yeah, we're going through the final corner of lap 13, one lap of fuel remaining. We do have that excess to play with if we need it, and now we're going to try and make a big push, see if we can catch up to Pierre Gasly on this last lap. But we're not quite there, as you can see. We're going to come through to the last few corners. We got the gap down by about half a second, but we didn't really make it work for us. We didn't really make the big changes happen. And Gasly is starting to pull away from us a little bit as we go through the last few corners. It's good to have him still in sight because knowing we can keep up with an AlphaTauri is comforting, I guess. As we come through, we're going to finish about 1.8, 1.9 behind him. As we cross the line, it says 2 seconds, but you know, what's a couple of tenths when there's no more racing there? We come home in a fairly happy 15th, to be honest. I think if you'd offered me 15th at the lights, I'd have taken it, so we're okay with that.
And
yeah.
Mercedes.
I know it sounds like, but win races, and we're today without a winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, for me, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the boring choice at this point, but you can't argue that he's a driver deserving of his reputation. I know that's at odds with the official decision, but I think they deserve some recognition on a day where both of these drivers are at the top of their game.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So confirmation of a 15th place finish for us and 18th place for Tatiana. We are still sitting high in the championship. And Claire wants another chat.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
So Claire wants to know about the... I
Cut
don't know
your
why
way
the
through
sound
the
has
field
got all
today.
messed up again.
What was your strategy?
Our strategy was to just try and stay on the track and knock people out the way, but we're going to say it was the car's nimbleness because, frankly, if our chassis hadn't held up, we'd have broken.
Your team must be ecstatic.
I'm happy with how I'm performing. I'm not sure if the stewards are happy with how I'm performing, but we'll not get complacent. And did I feel comfortable in the wet,
Did you
Claire?
feel comfortable in the wet weather today?
Buddy, no. I never feel comfortable in the wet when I've got a car this bad under me. It wasn't the cleanest race, and that's because
wasn't
no
the
one wants to back
cleanest race
down
today, was
because,
it?
as I've said before, real men don't lift. So, thanks, Claire. I think we're just going to wrap up the episode. You can see the acclaim boost there. So, I am going to sort of leave things there, I think, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, I've been Chasing Lamely. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want to see more from this My Team Career Mode series. And yeah, also you can find me on all of the social medias at Chasing Lamely, should you be so inclined. But until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.